expected September 20th. All of our premium live events, which are our big.
Hey guys, we soon gonna talk about WrestlePalooza and why you may be very hard to watch this TV PLE upcoming Saturday, September 20th, harder than you expected. We'll tell you more at the Toxic Ring Scandal.
I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. The tribal chief is head and shoulders above everybody.
Hey guys, we're back at Toss Ring Scandal, aka KDH. We're back at the locker room. We'll talk about why WWE WrestlePalooza 2025 will lose viewership, why WrestlePalooza will be a bust. You guys get the likes up. We about to answer dirty laundry. Now, WrestlePalooza, we all know, is moved to ESPN in United States as part of the new deal with ESPN and WWE. Now, many people have initially thought, instead of purchasing the app that is $30 priced every month, that if they do have ESPN with their cable provider, which is Xfinity or DirecTV or whoever your cable provider is, that you may be able to watch the event for free with no extra charge. You don't have to pay the extra $30. That does not seem to be the case here. Now, their report here stating, the report has stated that ESPN confirmed a large swath of cable subscribers won't have access to WrestlePalooza without additional payment. So even though if you have Xfinity or DirecTV, whoever your cable provider is, you will have to pay the extra $30 to access WWE WrestlePalooza September 20th. Now, a lot of fans are already upset about the price hike of what WWE has done as of late, but adding this to this mix makes it much more worse. And I believe that WWE is going to continue to lose viewership. It's probably starting already, which I'll get into an interview with Vince Russo with this most recent episode of SmackDown having the lowest viewership. I think with this whole thing going on, if WWE do not change its prices, lowering it for the fans, it's going to make it that much worse for the fans to even watch the program.
All everybody will tell me is how much money the WWE is making. Great. They're making a lot of money. 1.1 million people watch SmackDown on Friday night, the lowest rating ever. Okay. Here's what they don't understand. They're playing to those marks in the house that you and I know we've been through it a billion times before. We'll buy anything, sing with anything, cheer with anything, chant with anything. And you've got people at home saying, bro, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's right.
And literal, I hate to say this, but people with any semblance of a brain, they have literally turned off to the product. I swear, Chris, real quick. Triple H made castrating the marks yesterday because he was actually in a recent interview, he made the comment that we have great storylines. So I'm taking that comment, Chris, and maybe you can help me with this, because I'm saying to myself, bro, does he really believe that? I mean, when he says that, does he believe it? And if he does believe it, what is a storyline to him? A storyline is not one wrestler telling another wrestler, I'm better than you and I'm going to take your title. That's not a storyline. Yeah. So it's like either you have no understanding of what a storyline is, or somehow, some way, you have convinced yourself that this is good TV.
Yeah. Well, I think his judgment is getting distorted by the marks, though. I think that's one of his biggest things that you see. If he sees the reaction from the crowd, if he sees people buying, $17,000 tickets, if you see people getting in debt, to fill houses, and he's looking at 30,000, over 50,000 people within the 2-day mark, within 2 shows, he's looking at that, and anything goes as far as how he feels about the product. Is going to be positive. I said this before on my shows. It's one of those things that every time you see those post-show pressers that they don't do anymore. Well, they still do, but not with the media. you're never going to hear Triple H ever. And you're never going to hear him say, yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of this show. I wasn't a really big fan of this event. It really didn't, I was expecting a little bit more. It really didn't wow me as much as I was going to do. I had some things that I was expecting that kind of fell flat. You're not going to get a reality-based answer. It's always going to be, pushed up. And so that's the thing. Once you have that, you condition your brain to believe that to be true.
Yeah.
And so if he keeps pushing this narrative of every single time, I've all the post show pressures that I've watched, Vince, and I've been to pressures before, as all the ones that I've seen, and I could be wrong, there could be one or two, but I've seen enough to have a pretty solid sample size. I have never seen Triple H say, yeah, I just wasn't as excited about this one as I thought I was going to be. Just that real. So when you keep pushing this narrative of record breaking, gate breaking, this, that, most here, most that, once you keep beefing up your judgment of something with all these superlatives, that becomes your perception of it. And so you're going to be in these interviews doing the same thing. You're going to be bumping up the product with all these superlatives, and good storylines just equals we're doing what we need to do to hook the people we need to hook.
Yeah.
And if they see the success with that financially, they can bump up and have.
Now, that was Vince Russo and Dr. Chris Featherstone talking about how SmackDown had lower viewership. And Dr. Chris Featherstone, he had a point saying that Triple H is always, for political reasons, he's never going to say WWE had a bad show. He's always going to give it credit, even when it wasn't the best of their work. I believe with this whole thing of WrestlePalooza, now you have to pay $30 whether you have cable or not. That's going to make fans go elsewhere. And I talked about this before, that elsewhere would be AEW, All Elite Wrestling. There are some that are not even fans of AEW, won't even thought of watching AEW. But I'm saying with this whole price hike and paying all this extra money to watch WWE's product, they're going to consider, if not even watch it, at least consider watching AEW, which coincidentally, they do have an event called AEW All Out, which will be the same day. It's going to be a little earlier. I think it's 3 o'clock Central Standard Time or 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, whatever the case may be. It's going to be before WrestlePalooza, and I believe that it's going to make fans want to go elsewhere and watch their program, and it's going to make them not just watch AEW All Out, but may even watch all their programs. Now, their recent episode of AEW Dynamite, September to Remember, it did reach 600,000 viewership. Now, that's good. I know it was a 3-hour program and it was special, but the viewership in AEW may increase because Tony Khan has stated that he is pricing his tickets for his program for a family-friendly type of audience that he wants to purchase the tickets. Now, we know AEW, they are vulgar. We do know that they have lots of blood, but he is at least trying to, comparable to WWE, he's trying to be fair. Now, I know he charges $40 for every, or $50 for every pay-per-view. I believe on HBO Max it's $39.99. Don't quote me on that to be exact. Maybe $50, but they don't have PLEs every month. The only time they don't have pay-per-views is, I believe, January and February. Revolution is March of the year, and they have one every day. So we'll say roughly 10 months. And even though they do have it on, they charge every month, at least when they have Dynamite, it's simulcast, not just through TBS, but it also through the HBO Max app. Something WWE is not doing. Force you get Raw on Netflix only, not even on cable. So we're slowly starting to see that WWE is not going to be for cable anymore. It's all streaming. You have Raw on Netflix. You still have SmackDown on USA Network and CW for NXT, but we have now no more PLEs for the major shows, major roster shows. Now they're going to ESPN. The only thing that is on Peacock as of right now is the NXT PLEs, which is, again, force you to spend more money. You still, if you really like NXT, you have to pay the $10.99 a month for that, or yearly plan, or you have to watch, you know, if you want to watch the main roster pay-per-views or PLEs, it would have to be at ESPN, $30 a month. So average fan is not going to be able to afford to even watch WWE, not because they don't want to, maybe they can't afford it. They'll say, I can't even afford it. I'll watch highlights, you know, of the whole thing. I'll hear about it, hearsay, and that's it. But that's going to cause WWE to lose viewership. Their numbers will decline. I would say right now it started, but it's definitely, I say in 2026, WWE is going to take a decline in their PLEs and even in major shows, because people are not going to spend all that money to watch wrestling, especially fans that spend years and years and years and decades not even spending that kind of money. So it's really going to affect WWE long run. But the fact of the matter is, are you watching WrestlePalooza September 20th? You guys let me know. That's all I have for why WWE WrestlePalooza 2025 will lose viewership. You guys click the link to the next video. And of course, you already know what it is at this point. It's OUT.